Time is now accelerating to a standstill. How do you deal with that? By Open. May 30, 2016. Website: wakeup-world.com. Produced by Higher Self.
Are you feeling it too? It's like you have more and more to do, and increasingly less time to do it. It's because of this great shift of consciousness into the 5D. Time is speeding up, because life here in the 3D has been locked into an eddy current, a time warp, behind the flow, but now that reality is unwinding. We're rejoining the space-time continuum, where there is no time. How do you deal with that in a practical sense? What does it mean for your life and all that you're doing, all that you're trying to create? An artificial definition of time. Linear time is an illusion. It's a warp in time-space, held in place by a mind which has lost the flow and moved into an eddy current of beliefs and judgments, temporarily separate from the mainstream of the universal flow. It's like you've decided already what reality will be, and so your natural creative powers create that, you make it real, you hold it in place by a conditioned belief of what it will be tomorrow, based on what it was yesterday. That is until the reality becomes so dense, that it pulls in the realigning flow of the cosmos to bring it back to the mainstream. Deep in our past, humanity has witnessed the flow slowing down into this eddy current. Notice that for some considerable period of time it has behaved in an apparently predictable way, and then assigned some artificial definition of seconds, minutes, and hours to it. Since this artificial view of time is related to the spin of the planet, it seemed somehow constant. However, the mind is not indefinitely bound to the physical density. Instead, it is a vehicle for the flow of the soul, and now the soul of man is shifting, in the direction of the 5D shift of the planet. As you move toward the fifth density, inside yourself, then you begin to pass through the 4D, where the notion of linear time ceases. Instead, you rejoin the space-time continuum, where all in the cosmos is moving in concert together. Being is the change. That's why there can still be movement within this one moment of now, because everything moves together. The past is unwinding through this moment, and the next possible future is already landing in this moment. And so the dynamic continues rolling forward, continually shaping the new reality, the new form of the continuum. For an ego locked into an eddy current, a bubble, within that continuum, trying to hold a fixed reality in place, ultimately becomes a massive head spin. In this temporary bubble, you may think you have things to do, that are important. You may have your day lined up with this and that. You may think your career is important, putting a roof over your head, the bills, and the mortgage, etc., etc. And you find yourself chasing ever more to meet these deadlines. Yet underneath all of this is another, entirely different agenda. The flow has a purpose and direction all of its own. It's working through the greater cosmos to reflect mirrors of the One, of what the One is being now. And it's doing so through every part of the universe, including you. The universe is being, and that's why they say being is the change. Life is ascending into a more timeless 5D. So in any one moment, you're being pulled by two contradictory flows, the fixed eddy current of ideas and beliefs about what you should be doing in this matrix called society. But also the underlying movement connecting up to your soul that wants to bring you back to the mainstream, back to being. When you're in this authentic beingness, time disappears. That's why the more you open up to your soul, the less time you'll have to waste on things that don't ultimately matter. So what doesn't matter right now? Life on the planet is ascending. The old 3D reality has served its purpose and is unwinding. We see that in the rapidly changing climate and the breakdown of the biosphere. We see it in the moving on of life through the sixth mass extinction. There's no need to hang on to this, to try to heal or fix it? The fixing and healing is the movement into a higher vibrational frequency, the consensus of sentient life here is looking for, and moving toward, a reality of greater harmony, of greater sense of pure being. What do you really have to do? The 4D karmic anchor that has created this reality, for the purpose of evolutionary exploration, education, and growth, has been lifted. It happened at the back end of 2012, when Gaia centered her consciousness in the 5D. Now the old reality is unwinding and unraveling. The physical constructs may still be in place, for now, but the soul is being encouraged higher, by the movement of other sentient life steadily shifting frequency. This is no time for caution. What does this mean in a practical sense? It means if you're still locked into doing, to trying to shape and control things in the 3D, you'll likely find yourself under increasing stress as you have less and less time to do what you think you have to. The more you surrender those things that you really don't need to do, the more you'll come into the presence of being. Paradoxically, when you're in that place, it feels like time has stopped. Because it has. You've speeded up into a standstill, where you're now being. How can you live within this shifting dynamic? The 3D reality will continue to exist, a while longer. But it will become increasingly challenged in the years ahead as sentience ascends. It means the resources of the planet will dwindle, and the growing space for food as the climate shifts too. This is already happening. We see it for example in the phenomenal speed with which marine life is moving on, which is a major link in the food chain. So there will still be things to do. But it's increasingly essential that the doing is authentic, that it arises only from authentic being. In other words, you have to be coming from the soul in order for your life to truly work. If you find yourself increasingly rushed and hurried to do things, it's because you're not actually doing what the unraveling flow is inviting you to do. There's absolutely no need to hurry. It's time to let go. To surrender what you think you must, should, or are obliged to do. Instead, feel deep into the soul and commit only to that sense of rightness, which is then supported by the clicking in of synchronicity. Then you know you're in the flow, and it feels like you have all the time in the world. Quote, "The Tao is never hurried, and yet nothing is left undone." Lao Tzu. End quote. Life will continue a while longer here in the 3D, but the underlying impetus is to move on. That in itself is already unwinding this reality, which is felt as insecurity to all those scrambling to manifest or control dwindling natural resources. If you want to evolve and be a part of the realigning flow, there's no need to fight or try to hang on. Let go. Surrender. You don't have to do a fraction of what you think you must. Take time to come into stillness. As much as possible. And from the stillness let natural action flow. There's nothing to struggle for, let go, you've arrived. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to solve, to struggle for or to hold in place. It's all solving itself and you just have to dance within that resolution. It will batter you. Or rather, it will batter the ego. It will batter the ego down into the surrenderedness of the soul. So stop fighting. Stop struggling. Stop trying to fix it. Let it fix you. Stop trying to get somewhere, then you'll find you've already arrived.